Good evening, you sports heads, and welcome once again to another edition of Comin In Klutch on the Eric B. Media platform. Every Monday from 6:30 to 7:30, it is brought to you by Troy City Mortgage and, of course, their partners at the Walsh Title and Closing, working together to bring you the very best home buying experience. Troy City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, led by the great David Pereira. The team at Troy City have local roots, deep knowledge, and expert solutions to get you the best mortgage possible. Give them a call at 508 207 5864. That's 508 207 5864. And of course, the folks at Title Walsh, at the Walsh Title and Closing at 508 858 5725. That's 508 858 5725. And of course, folks, welcome once again. As you know, every Monday, it's where we are hanging our hat and talking sports, and more sports. And boy, do we have a show for you and a lot to get to. Colby, what's happening, my man?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Happy belated Easter.
Same to you.
I'm not sure if that's a holiday, but we'll make it a holiday. It's official. So hope everyone had a great holiday if you celebrate it. And if you don't, maybe you just had a good weekend. The weather was pretty nice. So at least around here on our neck of the woods, which was nice for once. And of course, folks, our show always will start with the opening vent being brought to you by Titletown Trucking, Truck Little Champions. And Colby, do we have anyone for that? Or are we still with?
We can plug DJ Classic if you want to. Plug
yeah,
DJ
let's
Classic.
do him.
So my opening event will be brought to you by DJ Classic for all your entertainment needs, especially coming up now in the spring and the summertime. Looking for a DJ, please reach out to DJ Classic. You can book him at bookdjclassic@yahoo.com.
There you have it. I think you're first, Colby.
Okay. So I know we're going to really get into this a lot today after yesterday's action between the Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets.
Of course.
But I guess my opening vent has to do with how the city of Boston is portrayed. The fan base, I should say. I was listening to our counterparts on the 2 to 6 show today, and basically they were saying that the way that our fan base acts is the reason that we're not going to be able to attract any star players to the Boston Celtics.
Old news.
To me, that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? So first of all, if I'm paying a crap ton of money to go to a Celtics game and there is an opposing player that I do not like, i.e. Kyrie Irving,
right,
I'm going to make sure that player is uncomfortable the whole game, okay? There's a reason why they call it home court advantage for a reason.
Absolutely.
Not to go to a game and just shut your mouth and sit there. No. First of all, the reason why the city of Boston hates Kyrie Irving is because it's because of what he did, okay?
Yep.
And everyone seems to forget that asshole sat up in front of thousands of people at the season ticket event at the Garden when he played for the Celtics and pretty much said right there that he wanted to re-sign with the Celtics at the end of the season.
He did. True.
So
fact.
We all know what happened. He didn't sign with us. He went to Brooklyn, okay? That's why people are pissed at him, okay? And he needs a reality check to realize that's why the city of Boston hates him. Has nothing to do with his skin color. Has nothing to do with, how good at basketball he is.
Just his attitude.
It's simply to do with his arrogance,
right,
and his stupidity, and him opening up his mouth and not knowing when to shut it.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about this topic before the show had started, before its inception, and we had discussed the fact that, Kyrie, I was on the bandwagon. I thought we gave up not much to get him here, and I thought between him and Gordon and the young Jays, it was going to be a super talent.
And if you look back at that team was stacked.
It really was.
That team was stacked.
And he became a cancer. And now we realize what kind of player he is, and LeBron noticed that too in his career. Not that LeBron's personality is any better, but definitely you can see where that murky water and oil and vinegar was happening.
Yeah, and I think obviously we were blind as Celtics fans to it in the beginning because
we wanted a star
because of the talent in the star.
Yeah,
and of course we were like, oh yeah, Kyrie. But the more he was on the Celtics, the more he opened his mouth, the more you saw his true colors. Towards the end, I was over him too.
Right. Well, my opening event actually had to do with the fact that today, I think, was the first day that some Patriot players came perusing into one Patriot place at Gillette Stadium. And of course, and Malcolm Butler, by the way, was one of the guys he was there. Believe it or not, he actually showed up. Nice suit.
Was it the ghost of him, or was it really him?
It was really him. Nice suit, by the way, too. Not bad. I guess that's what $40 million in Tennessee.
Exactly.
So he comes in, and of course, the question always has to come up: why did you not play in the 2017 Super Bowl? I am so sick of this question. If you really think, as a fan, that you're going to get this answer today, now, while he's still playing, while Bill is still alive, or actually actively engaging in coaching,
correct,
you're out of your bleeping mind. Only he and the coaching staff know exactly what happened. So if you want to figure that out on your own, his answer was, you guys need to keep doing more research and find your sources, because I'm sure you'll find the answer eventually. Give it up. That is,
nobody's going to say anything.
It's water under the bridge. It's frustrating. I understand it's going to be a natural question, but if you brought Malcolm Butler back so we can hear this question for the next 17 or 18 weeks of when the season starts, I am not interested. I am not interested. It is old news. We all have an idea of what probably happened there. It was Bill being what Bill is, but we're not sure. We may never be sure, but if we're going to be sure, it's going to happen way past, them being actively engaged in the NFL. So just be glad that Malcolm is here. He's not getting paid a lot. Looks like he's a more mature guy. I don't know how much he has left in the tank, but they needed to bring in pieces. And the Pats are always about bringing in pieces, specifically in the secondary. They want to bring in pieces to see if in case one drops off, they have somebody else to plug and play. That secondary has always been that type of position, that type of mindset.
In the way he was speaking today, it looks like he's motivated. He's ready to go.
It almost looks like he almost sounds like a more mature version of when he first came into the league. Like no one's giving him a chance. He's a little bit washed up. I think time has come where he now has gotten paid. He moved on. He realized the different franchise that's out there, how we got dealt with. Maybe he wasn't as good as he thought he was, and maybe we get a more humbling Malcolm that may do a couple of things. I'm not going to tell you he's going to be like J.C. Jackson. I'm not even sure what J.C. Jackson is going to do.
Who knows?
I don't know. But what I know is that this question needs to stop. And yes, they can ask it, but it's going to be annoying if this is what's going to happen every time the name Malcolm Butler comes up. Just
give it up.
Give it up. Give it up.
Okay, he didn't play. End of story. They lost. End of story.
That's it. It's a misfortune. It's a mystery. Maybe we'll hear about it in 15 years. I don't know. So there you have it, folks. There's your opening vents. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to hit it hard and hit it strong. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you there on the other side. And folks, welcome back to our show, 16 to 7:30, 6:30 to 7:30 every Monday at the Eric B Media Coming In Clutch. Our phone number 508-974-3040 is the call in. So feel free to call in. A lot to digest over the weekend or over the week for that matter. And we're going to get right into it. Why not? Get right into the infamous 3:30 tip-off yesterday. Game one of the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. And if you thought it was going to be anything but, you're wrong, because it was everything that we expected and then some.
Fireworks, entertainment.
It was pretty much the 4th of July in there without being the 4th of July.
It was like watching WWE.
So, obviously, there was a lot of dialogue and narrative code leading up to the game once everything had shaken out and the playoffs had happened and the seeds had all been put in place. And, of course, with the history, as you mentioned in your event, of Kyrie, it's not uncommon to think that there was going to be drama. But it happened right away.
Well, hold on. Before you even get into that, can we go back to his press conferences before the series even started?
Yes.
He basically said he was over it and it was going to be a very, nothing was going to bother him.
Right.
And he's celebrating Ramadan and,
yes,
he's fasting and there can be no negative energy.
So it's funny that you say that because I was going to relay a little bit of information on, for those of you who follow, the Catholic Christian religion and you follow Easter, of course, there's 40 days, 40 nights. You're just supposed to be fasting and sacrificing. So leading up to the game, Kyrie was asking his questions before the game.
Correct. Yep.
And the game, he had stated before the game, rather, that he was going to basically not allow that stuff to get into his head. Not get involved with the fans, basically do everything opposite of what he did when it came to game time. So, he's, going through his religion and Ramadan and fasting and doing all these things. Maybe he should have eaten a hamburger before going on because clearly he was not in his right mental capacity.
He never is.
No, right. He never is. But as soon as that thing tips off, and I saw the tip off for that reason, the booing was already happening 3 seconds in. And you know what? Thank you and good job, Celtics fans, Celtics Teamsters, and the people that were there on getting on this guy.
And don't let anybody, try to sway you from that.
Nope.
You go in there and you boo the shit out of that guy, okay? I don't care what the national media thinks. I don't care what the local media thinks and how, you're firing his ass up. He's gonna kill you. I'm not scared of Kyrie Irving scoring 40 points on us, okay? One player doesn't win a game.
Not at that level. Not at that level.
So go in there and keep doing what you're doing.
So good job on the fans for getting on him and harping on him as he deserved. What he did to this franchise, how he left this franchise, how disingenuous he was as a player wearing Celtics green, he deserved that and then some. And that is what it takes to be a professional, is dealing with those adversities. And that is why you work hard to get home court. So if you thought we were not going to be, as fans, harping on you, you must have lost your marbles. So I think Kyrie played as good as you probably could. And it was scary at the end, and there should have never gotten to that point. There should have never been that one possession game. Why not? Because they had a 15-point lead.
Yes.
And then they had an 11-point lead, 2 different double-digit leads in that game.
And they started taking it easy.
And then they started kind of taking the pedal off the metal.
Correct.
Do not do that against any opponent in the playoffs, Celtics. Do not do that. Because this is the NBA. This is the NBA playoffs. And you need to be able to understand that every game, every minute every possession matters. That game should have never gotten that close. And it was really frustrating me. They're missing easy layups, easy shots. Unorthodox, unconventional buckets that were being just missed.
You're right.
That should have been a double-digit win. However, talent will always outwin and outbid an individual. And Kyrie was lights out. That fourth quarter, he couldn't play any better. And the more he played better, the more angry I got.
Yeah, but he got selfish at the end.
Correct.
That's what happens.
Correct. So he felt he was going to take over the game. I thought Durant had a terrible first half. Second half was a little bit better. I don't think Durant's right, by the way. He looks a little off with his game.
You know what, though? I don't even think he looks a little off. I just don't. I think he's another one that can't handle when they kind of bully him, to use that type of word. Ime's game plan was to make Kevin Durant's night frustrating. Don't let him get that ball easily. Get in his face. And as you can see, he was getting frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
He was getting pissed.
Oh, yeah.
He was getting frustrated. Every time he got called for a foul, looking at the referee like,
yep.
Listen, he doesn't like that.
So there were a few things out of the game that I want to take. First and foremost, referees, swallow your whistles.
Let him play, man.
Please, for the love of God. 18 fouls in the first quarter. It's a record.
Middle school game.
It's a record, and it's not a good one. It is not a good one. This is asinine. You need to stop getting involved and let these men play the game of basketball how it needs to be played. And I think this is on both sides, by the way. I think there was too much whistling. They want to set the tone. I understand they want to set the tone. That is overstepping the boundaries of what was going on in that game. That game was going to be intense. That game was going to be, tough. It was going to be a grinding game. And even though that the Celtics are a much better team on paper, I think they have a deeper bench.
Of course they do.
I think besides the top two guys, they have some good pieces. From Marcus, who's been playing well. Al Horford's been playing well. Tyson's been playing surprisingly
just talk about
well.
how what a hell of a game Al Horford had yesterday.
Tremendous game.
I know a lot of people aren't talking about him, but what a hell of a game he had yesterday.
30 little things he did yesterday. 30 little things.
It just, you know what? When you see him play like that, sometimes you just like, why did you ever go to Philly, man?
Yeah.
Because you are a Celtic. This is the perfect fit for you, and for you to go to
really
Philly.
Is.
I get it. He chased the money, but he should have stayed here, man.
He really should have. I never liked that move for him. I thought it was not going to work out for him, and I'm glad he's back here doing what he's doing, and he's taking care of himself, and he's been healthy.
Yes. Correct,
so
correct.
So we start off with that first quarter. 18 fouls. I mean, folks, what do you think? 508-974-3040 is our number. Do you think that they got too involved, the referees, too early? Or are they just setting the tone? Either way, the more whistles I hear, the more breaking of the game plan and of the game happens, which allows me to have a difficult time to process what's going to happen because I'm a minion and I have small brains. So I cannot have these distractions, you referees. So the zebras need to stay in their zoo and call it when you have to.
Listen, I want them to call, obviously you want them to call the best game they can, but just leave the ticky-tack stuff out. That's
way too much on that.
The fact that Brooklyn was shooting free throws, 1-1, whatever it was, I think it was 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's unheard of.
It's ridiculous. So I didn't like that tone there. I liked how the Celtics, and we have been talking about this, Gold, when they ratchet up their defense and they do this like a 2-on-1 thing that they do. Let's say there's a player let's say it's Durant that has the ball out on the perimeter and he's out on the corner. There's this other person that comes over, another player that comes over, creates this problem, and it results in uncomfortable, breaking up the timing of the play.
Yes.
And when the Celtics started doing that, the turnover started to begin. They had a nice little run going into halftime. And then they come out of the third quarter, not so hot. Now it's tied. I think it was 61-61 at one point. And then all of a sudden, now here comes Kyrie getting hot. And I'm like the situation. I also did not like the fact that I know Tatum got the bucket, and it was a great play. Everyone touched the ball. Marcus Smart, I thought, was taking the shot. I thought he was.
I should say last year he would have taken that shot.
Yep, he didn't take it this year.
He definitely bought into Ime's philosophy.
He definitely did, and that was a high percentage pass, high percentage shot with no seconds left. And if you shoot that ball any sooner, you're leaving some time left on that clock. And by you doing it that way and setting up that play, you resulted in triple digits. And that's what you wanted. So the Jason Tatum was frustrating me a little bit. I wanted his presence a little bit more because I think he's that good. And
I mean, some of the shots. Did you see that turnaround, Jay?
Yeah.
Right in Durant.
Yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty.
Listen, he's arrived when he can do something like that.
He has. Right. I
was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't expect that.
I thought Jaylen Brown was the one that was kind of carrying the team for a bit there.
He started off really slow. He was bricking everything.
He really was.
But when it mattered most, that's when he stepped up.
So here's what I want to see. I want to see a complete game, 30 points apiece from both those guys.
Yes.
and I want to see that defense ratchet all the way through. And I need to see a blowout. I need to see a blowout on these Brooklyn Ham-and-Eggers Nets. These two, this is an 8, 9 seed. They were 7 seed.
Seven seed.
Okay. They are not a better team than you. They have two of the best players in the world. I understand that. But that one player cannot beat you.
That's what I've been telling people. Yes, they have Durant and Kyrie, but two people cannot
happen.
Especially this Celtics team. They're
Yep.
a team.
Yep.
They've been playing like a team ever since January when they finally got their heads out of their asses.
Right.
They've been playing like a team.
Yeah.
I don't see that just all of a sudden going away. Do you?
No, I don't think. I don't. It shouldn't.
I mean, even watching the pregame yesterday, but would think the only person that had the Celtics winning the series was Michael Wilbon. Everyone else is like, oh, Nets. It's like, have you people been watching this team this year?
Yeah, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy.
I do like Van Gundy a little bit more than Jackson.
But my goodness, these two guys, talk about anti-Celtics, these guys.
Well, Jackson's trying to get that Lakers head coaching job.
Oh, is that what he wants? Well, he can go there too. His 5'9" self can go there as well, and he can enjoy that dumpster fire through it that's going on. But I just feel that the game took out a lot out of me because it was really intense, and I didn't feel like it should have been intense once that double-digit lead had been solidified. And that concerns me. And also, there was questions about, can the Celtics close out a tight game with under 3 minutes?
Yes.
And they were able to. But if they didn't, Colby, that would have been a disaster for us.
You're right.
Right? That we would be having a different conversation right now.
Because even I thought that once they had that big lead, I'm like, all right, they're gonna keep the pedal on the gas. They're gonna
keep it going.
They're gonna keep going.
Keep it going.
But then they didn't.
And there was also this. Was it just me? There was some strange sequence of events.
There was
like bouncing balls, and it gets deflected, then it comes back the other way, and it looks like it's an easy hoop, and it gets blocked, and people are flying on the ground, and then they get a weird shot. I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
What about when Kyrie was waiting for his teammates when he took the ball out of bounds, and then they come back?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
And who's that? So who's that player that's like 55% from the stripe?
You talking about for them?
For them,
Claxton, the lefty.
Yeah, man, what a brick house that guy is.
Hack a Claxton, baby.
Yeah, I tell you what, Hack a Claxton. That's it. That's the name for that bozo. This whole series. If there's anybody to hack, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Man, that guy can't shoot a free throw. He shoots like me, 50%. It's what it is. I mean, he is terrible at the line. How are you in the NBA doing that? Like, unless you're Shaq, that could get away with it.
Yao Ming. I think Yao Ming had a better percentage.
It might have. Wow, with this guy talking about bricklayers, it would be just this thunk, like this sound coming off the rim. I think he's sling shooting it in there. What a disaster!
The best thing I saw about that was that I was on Instagram
Hack
earlier.
Claxton, that's great.
Even SportsCenter posted something on Instagram, him shooting the ball, and Al Horford was like, because he didn't know where the ball was going. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Wow. That guy is tremendously awful, and I really appreciate him being on the other side. So that again, your Celtics won. They won by 1. They're up 1-0 in the series. This layover, by the way, of 3 or 4 days is abysmal. Like Wednesday night, I have to wait to watch the Celtics play again. Talk about stretching my bubble gum. Are you kidding me? My God. I mean, this should have been a game already tomorrow.
Correct.
But have no fear, because with the awful timing of them, creates great timing for us, Cole.
Correct.
Because we will be at the Barclay on Saturday, watching the game, dressed in green, with our vests on and our masks on.
Bring it on, Brooklyn fans.
And we will be there. Look for me. Look for him. You'll probably wear something similar to that. I'll be wearing something that will be very bright and green, like my backdrop that you cannot see. And we are going to bring it. But we're going to be sitting in the nosebleeds, so if we need to disappear and evacuate, we shall be able to evacuate. So we are going to be there. And it's going to be a heck of a game to watch over there. I hope they're up 2-0 by the time they go down there. I really don't want to split. So I am hoping that they obviously take it. So we will be there. We might even do a live.
Yeah.
So look for that, folks. And we'll see how that goes. So game 2 coming up. And I think that Kyrie, again, played as good as he could have played. And they still fell short. And I like that. I like those odds.
But you know why they fell short again? If you go back and watch that last play, Durant decides he's just going to stand there and watch the play. He's not going to play defense. He's just going to stand there. So because of his ass standing there, Tatum was able to cut right in.
He did.
And then guess who else was standing there watching the play? His best friend, Kyrie Irving.
Yep. Not even looking at the ball.
As good as offensive players they are, horrid defensive players.
That inconsistent play in defense. And by the way, Brooklyn had some good moments on defense. I thought they had moments when they cared. They did it.
When they really want to.
Here's what I think is part of that problem. Steve Nash is a problem. Not a good coach. I think the attitude that he has brought is a fear factor of team player, play defense when you feel like it, but you guys are so good, take over the game as you feel like it, and it's not working. They had moments when they were creating some problems, but they're just not consistent enough. And that's why I feel they're going to be gone in 5 games.
He doesn't have any trust in his bench plays, clearly, because think about it. He has Blake Griffin, and I get it. He's not the same Blake Griffin of, back in the day, but he's sitting on the bench. He also has Aldridge sitting on the bench, and those are two veteran star players who are stars at the time.
Did Patty Mills even play?
Yeah, Patty Mills got some playing time yesterday.
Can I stop hearing about Drummond? Andre Drummond?
Hacker Drummond, too.
Wow, does that guy hack? Holy smokes. Wow, what happened to him? Whew, man, does he suck. He is a bag of asses, let me tell you. What a bag of poop that guy is. So there you have it, folks, for your Celtics talk. I say that they will win game 2. We are going to go see them, and they'll be up 2-0. And it will be a double-digit victory because I think they're going to fix the cobwebs. The nerves are out.
I think they're feeling good. I think they're feeling really good.
That first game is always a tough one.
In their head, think about it. They didn't play their best game, and they still won it.
They did. And I think that, Tatum said it best. It's the first time in 3 years that we've had this kind of environment in the playoffs. Folks, these people are human. They're human too. And they're going to hear the noise. They're going to hear that environment. And that could either make you as a player or weaken you as a player. It's not like you're playing in a bubble anymore. So it was good for them to get all that in, take it all in, win by 1, and deal with all the adversities that were going on with Kyrie and the antics that he was doing and the baby childish maneuvers that he was doing and childish sayings that he was doing, inappropriate, unprofessional. So I think after all of it, the Celtics taking the win is a big win to break the ice in this series of, and I think they're going to win it all.
And can I say something
on
please?
This series?
Another thing that's aggravating me about this whole Brooklyn Nets thing. I don't want to hear Ben Simmons' name, okay?
Oh my gosh.
I am so sick and tired of hearing the national media say, Ben Simmons is going to come back in the series. His presence, he's going to be felt. And he hasn't played a goddamn basketball game in a freaking year. Wake up, people.
Yeah.
Wake up.
He stinks.
Do you think he's just going to get on the court and all of a sudden he's going to be the best defender the league's ever seen? Listen, he's not going to shoot the ball.
Yeah, he can't shoot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm so sick of that narrative.
I know.
That all of a sudden Ben Simmons is going to come back in the series and the Celtics are screwed. Like, give me a break. If you want to play that game, Robert Williams is coming back game 5.
Right. And
So,
at that point, that's evenly a wash
Exactly.
to me. I mean, that washes itself out with the advantage on the Celtics. So, yeah, the Ben Simmons thing, this guy was never a good shooter.
It's a joke.
He was always an okay player, with good moments in Philly. What did he drink? Some kind of Brooklyn Nets juice of some sort that's going to make him defend, shoot, block, and come on, give me a break. Give me a break. That's why. This is why.
I don't want to hear it.
This is why this need to take care of business before this guy comes back in. So 508-974-3040 is our call. We will take a short break and we will come back on the other end. Don't go anywhere. welcome back, folks, to our podcast every Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B Media platform. Thanks for chiming in. We had come out of the break talking Celtics. Of course, what else could we be talking about? Big game on Easter Sunday, 3:30. Hopefully, it was right after you had that second piece of carrot cake, because I know I did. And it was an electrifying game, frustrating game. Had some strange things unravel. Had the biggest baby on the planet with Kyrie, who's a fraud and a liar, by the way. And even after him playing a tremendous fourth quarter, particularly where he couldn't miss, he wound up still losing as a team. And that's why basketball is played as a team. So the Celtics wound up really closing it out in a tight game at the end that really should have never been tight. And I'm really glad that they were able to find themselves. And Ime, who I think should be coach of the year.
And he wasn't even a finalist.
Really, really, really odd. Has really made this team play at a high level, and that defense really came up big when it had to go. Mm-hmm. So, game 2 coming up on Wednesday, and I still believe that the Celtics are the better team in the series. I want to see a blowout in one of these games. A complete blowout where they're benching their two players and they're bringing in who is it? Hackett Claxton? Whoever that guy is. The one that shoots
Nick Claxton.
Yep, that shoots 33% from the free throw line. That's what I want to see. I think that will be a dagger to show how far away that they are from being a contending team, which is exactly what would have happened around here if the Celtics were at number 7 seed. They would be like, you see, it's not enough. It's not enough. You only have Jason Tatum and Brown. You don't have your pieces. You don't have that deep bench. And this is what happens. So it's funny how these conversations are not being discussed. There's still some haters out there, of course.
There's always going to be haters, man. And it's they're all on the same radio station.
Exactly.
It never changes.
Yep.
It's the same stuff every day.
So that is our basketball talk. So we're hoping for a double-digit win. That's what I'm hoping for on Wednesday. We will be there live at the Barclays on Saturday. Oh my goodness. It cannot come fast enough. Really. So I am fearful and also being brave at the same time. You know, I got to make sure I get in there quietly, and when I'm in there, who wins?
Listen, I'm not scared. Bring it on. Bring it on.
So switching gears now, we'll talk a little bit of baseball. And I did get a chance to catch a couple of the Red Sox games. And what I have come up with is they're just becoming a little inconsistent starting off the season. Mm-hmm. The starting pitching staff, Tinavaldi, Rich Hill, by the way, Dad passed away, unfortunate. Walker, who's actually been pretty good.
Walker's been pretty good.
Pretty good. Walker. And Pivetta?
Pivetta's been a little shaky.
Shaky, right?
And I actually liked him. He's a guy last year that I
really
liked.
They are 12th in the league right now as far as starting pitching with all the metrics that baseball uses. Not really going to be good enough at this stage of the game. There was a 3-0 game early that Evaldi had a lead. He blew the lead. He's given up 4 home runs already. I don't like that number either. So I'm not panicking. We're not going to go into panic mode. I think the Sox got a good team. They got a good ball club. I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know, at the bat. I know when they're up at bat, they're getting some good hits. Their offense seems to be fine, but I think there's a couple of players that I think are feeling the heat that we're trying to force the issue on. And I've seen this happen throughout my life of watching the Red Sox. They want to rush players up here. I think Dahlback is getting a lot of heat. The kid's got a lot of pressure up there. He had an at bat on Sunday that was a disaster. I mean, he's chasing pitches that he should not even be chasing.
And you know what's funny about that? For the most part this season, he hasn't been like that. Because last year, that's the one thing I really couldn't stand from him was him chasing these pitching and just swinging at everything.
Up high.
Yeah, and it seemed like he worked on it in the offseason. I'm like, wow, maybe he really isn't going to swing at those pitches. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I said that to myself, the old Bobby came back.
Yeah, so Bobby needs to get better with that. So Dahlback, I think there's a lot of pressure going on there. I think the organization needs to be taking him a little bit slow.
Well, you know what it is, too? I think he's feeling the pressure, knowing that Tristan Casas is already on a roll.
He's already raking down there. I know.
And
I saw that.
He's coming, man.
So he did make a nice play on Sunday. He made a couple of nice plays, but
Well, even defensively, his scoops are a lot better.
much better.
Last year
Yeah.
he couldn't scoop.
Devers had kind of a lazy pass across the
He
diamond.
does that a lot.
He does it a lot, and the ball's kind of bouncing. He digged it up. He dug it up, and it was a fine play. Arroyo in the outfield scares me. I don't want to see him out there. I've seen enough. I think I've seen enough. So I know I've seen enough. Like he's not good. It's not his position. Again, another managerial question mark that I'm not liking.
It's like he's trying to give these guys playing time.
Yeah, with Cora making these questionable decisions. Listen, you brought back Jackie Bradley Jr. not because of his stick. This is not. You don't need to be having Carmine Dorkazoid computer to know the reason why you brought back Jackie Bradley Jr. He's a great fielder. Stick him out there. I don't want to see Arroyo out there ever again. He is atrocious. Wow, what a hot mess that guy is out there. I'm telling you, he's not good out there. Not good.
That's why he plays second base.
Yeah, please stick him in the infield where the kid belongs. And I'm not really knocking on him. It's not his position. I appreciate you being a team player. Congratulations. This is the MLB. I'm not sure if you realize this. So I want to see Jackie Bradley out there. Good, better, indifferent. This is who you wanted, Red Sox fans. And here we are. So, this is kind of what it is. So Jackie, I need to see him out there. His stick is what it's going to be. But his defense is why you brought him back. More than makes up for it. And I think if there are some plays where I think Jackie, if he was out there, maybe he would have saved the day on that. So,
can I say, and I know Trevor Story's feeling a lot of heat, but I actually give him pretty much a pass because he signed late in spring training.
Yeah, he did.
Spring training already started late because MLB couldn't get their heads out of their asses.
Yep.
So he came into camp late. Then he left camp because I think he had his son or daughter was born.
Right.
He left camp.
Yep.
And then to start the season, he got food poisoning.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he's going to be kind of, you could tell his timing just isn't there. But, there's no need to panic on Trevor's story.
Right.
I already had people saying,
I'm not panicking.
yeah. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, I'm not panicking. Bogarts' game is excellent. Bogarts is a Red Sox. He gets it. He plays like a Red Sox.
He always does.
He looks like a Red Sox. He is a Red Sox.
He loves Boston. Man.
So I am not telling you that the wheels are coming off. I'm not even telling you that I've loosened up the lug nuts. Okay, I'm just simply saying that there's going to be a situation there where they need to improve a little bit and clean up some of their things. A little bit warm. So let's just see them play a little ball. I like them to be a little bit more consistent, maybe on a roll of winning 6-7 games. Minnesota's not a good team, and they lost to Minnesota today. And I really thought that they should take more games out of that series. So keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on that. Right now, they're playing okay. They're playing okay.
Well, they get a big series now. Toronto comes to town, and we all know Toronto can rake. That team can rake.
Yes.
And, as much as I hate to say it because they're in our division, that team can hit the shit out of the ball.
They really can. And if my cousin Roy is watching, he's from that area nearby anyway. I'm not sure if he follows baseball to that magnitude, but yep, those Blue Jays are the real deal. Now there's some COVID stuff going on with that. So they're checking cards and checking COVID, and Cora's concerned about that. So there's all kinds of stuff still lingering.
That's next week. But the Toronto.
Oh, well, when we go up there.
Yeah, Toronto comes here starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Other news that came up on the NFL. So we have finally the other chapter of the Patriots 2022-2023, which is going to be the NFL draft has arrived. So it's coming.
Next weekend.
It is next weekend. And we're not going to do what some other folks do where we're throwing highlighters at players. Though we might as well should, because as you remember, folks, if you came back to one of our shows in archives, you would have seen that first-round picks are really about a 50-50 chance like every other player in the draft. And what I think I've come to realize with Bill Belichick is he wants 1,000,005 pieces because he feels that the more chances he has to draft, the greater chance he'll have of potentially hitting on one of these. In other words, he doesn't want to just have 7 picks, like 1 through 7. First round, second, third. He wants to have multiple picks to allow them to be multiple times. And I know that sounds so obvious and so matter of fact, but there's still people losing their minds.
He sucks.
On how much he sucks and he stinks on drafting. And the first round, if you go back and you see the first round, there's some players that have been hits, and a lot of them had not been hits. So they've been misses, swings and misses. So the Patriots are getting ready for their board. I don't think they're going to get out of the first round. I think they're going to draft right where they are. They're slotted to draft, is it 21?
21.
21. Okay. I'm expecting a defensive player. I would like to see it be a secondary player. If there are any questions, by the way, on Gilmore coming, forget about that. Just signed the contract with the Colts.
By the way, can I say this real fast?
Yes.
Stephon Gilmore was bitching here because he wasn't getting a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
I was going.
And he goes to the Indianapolis Colts
Yep.
for chump change.
Chump change. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. It's right here. So when I saw this
so for
earlier,
all these people out here, oh, Pats ain't gonna pay. Pats don't want to pay. All you have to do is look at that contract.
2 years, $23 million, of which X amount of it might be guaranteed, but 13 guaranteed. Okay. This guy was for 14 to be guaranteed. So that means that's about $7 million a year. So for a guy who was crying 2 years ago that he wanted to get all this crazy money, and he wanted to get Denzel just got signed Denzel Ward for the Browns. He got paid $100 million contract. He's not him, not anymore, and he didn't want to get that. Now he's going to go to the Colts.
But it's funny how nobody's talking about.
No one's talking about that.
Yeah, the Patriots suck. Because
they didn't give him.
They traded him and they didn't want him. They didn't want to give him the
so
money.
you want to know what I chalk that up? That's a win for the Patriots. Let me tell you why that's a win. They cut his ass because he didn't want to go out there and go play and see how he felt. Like
after they gave him a $5 million bump.
Correct.
During the COVID season.
So he leaves, and the pathetic Carolina Panthers, which I'm going to get to in a minute, by the way, about Carolina. The Carolina Panthers pick him up. He does nothing because that team blows, and then now
he got injured too.
Yeah, he did. He did. I actually watched that game, and now his stock has dropped, just like my crypto, and here we are where he's now playing for chump change, $7 million a year, and he could have had that at least way more than that if he had just stayed here. So you want to go chase, and they cut bait with him. I think he's done. I don't think he has much left in the tank. So they cut him at the right time. I thought. They hit on that. They saw something there that didn't make sense, and they let him. But that guy can't.
He doesn't know what he's doing, man. No idea.
Terrible coach. I know. On the flip side, the name of Colin Kaepernick had been sprung up again over the weekend. So now Colin Kaepernick now has come to agreement. Maybe he's also dealing with Ramadan, and maybe he's coming to his senses. Maybe him and Kyrie. But he is now willing to be a backup in the NFL.
Of course, because he needs money.
That's because you're broke as a joke. That's why. So I still think he's not going to have a chance. But I did get a chance to see the USFL play.
I didn't.
I did watch it. I will tell you, it's not a very good product, but it is football. It's okay. It's okay.
Not when you have Jeff Fisher as one of the head coaches.
Right. I saw Jeff Fisher.
His hat backwards.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Fisher. He was. It looked like he had aged by 50 years. Holy smokes! Did you get old? The fountain of youth did not work for you. The fountain of aging youth is what's going on with you. Holy shit, are you old? My goodness. So he's in there. Still sounds like Jeff Fisher. Still sounds like everything's going to be okay. That he's better than everybody else.
He's one rich man, though.
That he really is. And I watched some of the game. I will say it wasn't a bad product. I wound up watching. I think it was the Generals in Birmingham. So it's weird because there's 8 teams. They all play in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm watching it because I love football. And you can tell why some of those players are not going to be NFL players. They just lack a few things. Like it's just the way it is. But it is a product that's out there. They are considered professionals. So maybe Colin Kaepernick gets a chance to go play out there. Of course, he'll never let his guard down. So he's back. He is back in the mix. Cool. So maybe he will get a backup opportunity. I don't see it, but maybe he will.
Do you know who else's stock keeps falling every day too? That is Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
So the rumor was that Carolina was interested in Baker. And I don't know if you saw Robbie Anderson comment on that and said he wrote he doesn't want Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I throw it to him.
Right.
Now,
well, you know what that is. Robbie Anderson coming from the Jets, a pathetic franchise with a terrible quarterback. He knows
playing for another pathetic franchise.
Right? Why would Right. So why would he want a back quarterback?
Well, the rumor today that I did see is that the Carolina Panthers are now engaged in trade talks for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, believe it or not, as much as Carolina is kind of a dumpster fire, Carolina has some pieces. And I
Right.
think Garoppolo would
think
be
so,
just fine over there.
He might be. Yeah. I mean, he had pieces in San Francisco too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think he's a better option than Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I think so too. I don't know how much better, but he is better.
And it's looking like Mayfield's only spot if this trade goes through is Seattle.
Right. That's right, because they're looking for a player. And Pete Carroll at 70, who also, I'm not sure how interested he
does
is.
he really want to go into the season with Drew Lock as your?
Oh, I know. Not
or Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. Yeah, not exactly winning quarterbacks over there right now in Seattle. Speaking of Seattle, some old names. So Marshawn Lynch now is part owner of the Kraken.
Did you see his donuts?
I did. I got hungry.
He was just there, so he didn't get fined.
Yeah, right. So he's now involved with the Kraken. I guess he wants to invest his time.
It shows you how much money that guy made.
Apparently so. I will say this about Carolina. What is the infatuation with Carolina teams loving the color of powder blue? So I go watch the Revolution game. It started to rain. Of course it does, because it's New England. It's April. And they go play the expansion team, the Charlotte, whatever the hell they're called. Doesn't matter. They suck.
Charlotte Baby Blues.
I don't know. So they come out there. And what are they wearing?
Baby blue.
White and baby blue. And I said to myself, the Carolina Panthers wear blue. I remember Jake Delhomme wearing that ugly blue.
Yes, I do.
And the Hornets also wear blue. I don't know if it's a national color.
Could be.
Or maybe they're just not creative in Charlotte. I don't know what's going on out
Pick
there.
one color. All the
but let me tell you what. If you're a Charlotte fan, I mean, I don't know much about Charlotte. But here's what I know. If you have a professional team, it's blue. That's what I know.
Well,
508.
The good thing is we don't think we have any Charlotte fans watching.
No, I tell you what, it was big in the 90s. I tell you, if you love the Alonzo Mourning and Grandmama, boy, if you had a Charlotte Hornet a starter jacket, you were probably the Mac Daddy. And I know Boomer had one.
Yeah.
Guaranteed he had one. I just because know how he is. So, yeah, that's right, baby. That's right.
Starter, baby.
The starter. Yep. And they had to have that. You know how you knew if it was a real starter? The zipper had to have the starter logo.
You're right.
Some dorkazoids are trying to tell me it's a starter. Let me see your zipper. It's a regular zipper. That, my friend, is China. Yeah. 508-974-3040 is our phone call.
Can I break some news real fast?
Break some news. Yes. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun.
Your defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart, finally won the award. Just broke.
Another reason why the haters on terrestrial radio are going to lose their minds tomorrow.
Yeah, it just came up on my phone.
There you have it, folks. You heard it here first. Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year. I'm not surprised.
He should have, and he's the first guard, I believe, to win this award.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive.
But he's been playing lights out defense.
Again, he really has.
Again, the eye test. He's been playing amazing defense.
Yes, he has. So, and I think he deserves the award. If there was any year he deserved, I thought his maturity, his overall play on top of his defense, just made him, an easy candidate. So, folks, hang tight. We're going to come back for another segment, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side. And we're back, folks, with our last segment of Coming in Clutch every Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. time on the Eric B Media platform. And we came off the break talking some Red Sox, and we talked actually some football as well and some breaking news. And we ended right out of the end there in the tail end with the great Marcus Smart. Marcus winning
Smart.
Defensive Player of the Year. So if things weren't going to go any better for the Celtics, that might be something that creates more motivation for that team, and hopefully they can wipe the floor with these Brooklyn Nets and send them home.
Listen,
So
for
I
all
don't
you
have to worry
for all
about
you
it.
card collectors out there, if you got a Marcus Smart rookie card, now's the time to put it on eBay.
And go see our boy
Yep,
over there
go make some money.
and go see our boy over there at South Coast Collectibles, and over there on Plymouth Avenue, and he'll probably hook you up and tell you what's really going on and what you got, what you don't got. So I gotta go check mine. I think I have some.
Me too.
So on our last segment, Cole, I wanted to touch it a little bit on the PGA because I actually wound up catching the Heritage. And I was sitting there with a couple of individuals who actually have played at the Heritage
Wow.
in Carolina. What a gorgeous course. Let me tell you something. You couldn't pay me to go play on that course. The fairways are literally this wide. This is all you get. This wide.
4.
And there are traps everywhere.
Of course, man.
Dude, I would lose 50 balls in the first hole. So Jordan Spieth winds up winning it, $100,000 award cash out.
Nice, huh?
And he wound up closing up earlier than the other. He was not in the lead when he closed out. He was 13 under.
Mhm.
And the guy from Scotland, was the one, or from Ireland was up. And he wound up kind of falling apart because it's easy to fall apart on that course. And Conte was kind of up in there, and he was 13 under as well. But Jordan played a heck of a weekend. That guy's still.
He finished 13 under.
Yep, still one of my favorite guys to watch. And he really played a fantastic game. He wound up, his short game was outstanding. He had, I think, one or two that were in the sand. Other than that, he really played a hell of a game. His tees were on the money. He was hitting a little more yardage than the previous games, and he wound up taking it. I just wanted to say, if you ever want to play there, good luck, because I am telling you right now, that place is tough to play. So kudos for him, American, winning that. It was actually a gorgeous day, a gorgeous course, really it was.
Everything's gorgeous down there.
Oh my goodness, it was tremendous. And those guys took, some guys are using irons to come off the green, coming off the tee, because those are short, tough greens. So kudos for them and taking it. So if you caught that, you caught a good one. It was definitely exciting, to see some of those guys make some of the mistakes that we would make, because some guys were definitely in the bunkers, and some guys were knocking things off the trees and coming back in, kind of like how I play, Hacklemania is what it is. Yeah, thought it was purple.
All woods for me.
Yeah. And coming out of the break, we were talking, Cole. You wanted to touch up on the what was that topic we were going to talk? We were going to end up with. Spaces me now. Coming off the break.
What were you talking about?
Oh man, I know it was
See what happens when you start talking.
It was a PGA Tour. Yeah. But
so we were talking about the match between Thomas Edward Brady.
Oh, that was it.
And so it's Thomas Edward Brady versus Aaron Long Hair Rodgers.
That's what it was.
No, sorry. So they're on the same team.
That's what it was. The golf thing, yeah.
Well, as people like to say, the GOATs, even though I don't put Rodgers anywhere close to that conversation.
Right. One Super Bowl.
Versus the future GOATs in Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, which Josh Allen still hasn't won shit. So for people to be putting him in that category is still another thing, right?
Yep.
I'm not going to watch. Are you going to watch?
Nope. I'm not going to watch. And the fact that they're blowing each other before this thing started, and Josh Allen having photos of him wearing Tom Brady jerseys, give me a break. Oh, my gosh, dude. You've got to be kidding me.
See, and this is why maybe my mindset of Brady has changed, because he just can't help himself. He needs to be in the limelight 24/7. Like, think about it. We were talking about Brady coming back, then you didn't hear from him for about a week and a half. Now, all of a sudden, he's playing golf. He has to be in a golf tournament with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I'm just kind of getting over it now. Like, it was cool the first, maybe 2 matches.
Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, I'm not going to watch. I'm sure people will watch, but I'm not
They
going to
will.
one of them.
Yep. It'll be a 12-hole exhibition, and the exhibition is going to be happening. I guess it's on until June 1st.
June 1st, yes.
And it'll be on TNT. So if you want to really indulge into more Tom Brady porn, that'll be a great way to do it. But talk about these guys stroking each other. Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. So that was a talk of that kind of filtered in about how they're kind of playing together, and they're going to have the young crew versus the old, which goes to show you how quickly people want to crown people. I mean, in sports, we're so quick to want to crown the next greatest guy. It is so obvious that they want Josh Allen to be that guy because he had a good year and a half season, and I still think there might be a little bit of a regression with him.
Again, they lost their OC. OC.
And I think that's a big deal. So,
they haven't really made a lot of signings.
Yeah. No, not really.
Yeah, they got Von Miller, but
yeah, it's pretty much still the same team. And some say, well, why would they need the signings if they want to have a good season? I just think that Dable was really a big part of that team. So, and what he was doing and how he was coaching and managing and kind of how he made Josh Allen grow into kind of what he's become. So I guess we'll see what unravels, but certainly that was a little bit of a talk of the town with those two guys getting ready to go and doing their match. So if you're interested in seeing that, I won't watch it. I could care less. And you can go watch that on June 1st or whatever the heck the time is. So, Coben, anything else that you want to add to this adventure?
I actually do. So I think we talked about this real fast, but we all know the season that the PC Fries had.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know that Ed Cooley was named
Coach of the Year,
the national
coach of the year. Right.
So what I want to say is Ed Cooley's already doing a hell of a job recruiting. So recruiting starts off in high school. Everybody knows that. They try to get the best recruits out of high school. And to me, I think the key of college basketball is the transfer portal. Okay. And just this weekend, Cooley got two 4-star recruits transfers.
McDonald guys
to come to
to
the Friars.
Really?
And then he got another guy who's going to be his graduate year, who was like the main guy on LaSalle College or something like that. But he's been doing good, and they're in on a guy from Kentucky right now who was another, I think it was a 5-star or a 4-star recruit. So it just goes and show you that you make the tournament, you make some noise.
That's a big part of it.
You win Coach of the Year. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible, certainly. And I actually came across this. I'm not sure if you remember the story of DeJuan Wagner, who got drafted by the Cavaliers in 2002. He was supposed to be the next up-and-coming guy, and there was always talks that maybe him and LeBron would have been the duo. This is a kid that put up 100 points, in a high school game. His son, DJ, number one sophomore recruit in the country, high school. They're from Camden High, out of New Jersey. This is already the third generation of basketball players. His grandfather, Mitch, was a stud at Louisville and actually won a championship in the 80s with the Lakers, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the series on HBO, do not watch it with your children. Don't do the mistake that I did where there was 3 F-bombs and a half-naked lady in the first 5 minutes. So I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't working. It's one in the dynasty. It's basically the rise of the Lakers, if you're into that stuff, and I'm kind of into watching that stuff. So you might want to tune into something like that if you're interested. I know that Magic Johnson, the real Magic Johnson, was very upset. It was not going to watch it because he felt that there should have been involvement with the original players. I'm not sure how you want to make a young Magic Johnson look young again. It was about 1979 when he got drafted, so I don't know how he wanted to be involved with that. But in any event, so talking about those recruits, watch out for that kid. I hope the kid does well. His dad was really unfortunate. His dad ended up getting that UC, that colitis, and it was a shame because he really was a dynamic player when he came out. And he was still playing when AI was still involved and is still in the league, and Kobe Bryant was still in the league, yep. And there were some ballers at the time. So best of luck to them, and hopefully best of luck for the PC Friars. And hopefully we're able to have a good year and get back in that big dance next year.
Well, again, like I said, it just shows you, that's all you got to do, right? Make some noise in the tournament, people will start being like, "Oh, Providence." So it's good to see. So the three players that he did get commitments from were Devin Carter. He was a 4-star recruit coming here from South Carolina. Um, I guess he was, really highly touted coming out of high school.
He's already playing.
So he was recruited out of Brewster Academy, which is up in New Hampshire, and he committed to South Carolina.
Yeah.
But as you know, Frank Martin, who used to be the head coach there, got fired. Who now is the head coach of UMass. A lot of people like Frank Martin, so I feel like mostly South Carolina's team all entered the transfer portal. Devin Carter was one of their best players, so he is now committed to Providence.
Wow.
Another 4-star recruit that they got was I just had it up here. Sorry, Noah Locke from Louisville.
Okay, I've heard the name.
Sniper, 3-point shooter.
Yeah, big shooter. Well, I mean, I think the Friars had to do something too because they had a lot of seniors, and a lot of those guys wanted moving on and ending up their kind of hanging up their career.
Yeah, but Croswell said he's coming back. I mean, you got your boy Bynum.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have players coming back.
Do.
So I think they're going to be good again next year, man. Which is good to see for college sports around here.
Right.
We need teams like that.
No doubt about it. So that's some good exciting news right there. So we'll see how everything unravels. Get those recruits in here, and that transfer portal, like you said, is a big part of developing and building up your program. Everyone thinks it's out of high school, but not necessarily.
Well, think about it. I mean, PC Adamanaya and Al Durham.
Yeah,
both transfers.
Very good.
Saw how good pieces. Those two players were huge,
a great shooter and a great defender.
Pieces of this team this year.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is our show for today. Thanks for hanging on, and thanks for being patient as we kind of got things unraveling here. As always, it's Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B Media platform. So hopefully you can chime in next time if you didn't get a chance to do it today. Keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing, because with that is how we keep it going here. And hopefully you're enjoying the show. We try to bring different content that is relevant, content that's outside the box to show that we have half a brain. Even though I'm known as having small brains. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed the show. And as always, our sports podcast is being brought to you by Troy City Mortgage and his partner over at the Walsh Title and Closing, working together to bring you the best home buying experience. Troy City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, led by the great Dave Pereira. The team at Troy City have local roots and deep knowledge and expert solutions to get you the best mortgage possible. Give them a call at 508-207-5864. That's 508-207-5864. And, of course, the folks at Walsh Title and Closing, they can be located at 508-858-5725. That's 508-858-5725. Closing comments, Cobe, anything you got?
Go Seas. Again, Celtics fans, don't let the media try to coerce you into going the other way. After yesterday's events, with the way he was talking to people, that's just unacceptable. I don't care. I mean, you're making $40 million a year. There's no need for you to even chime, or for you to even care what the fans say to you. So he just escalated it. So I really hope you guys give it to him tomorrow. Just don't throw anything on the court.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Don't say anything racist, obviously.
Exactly.
But just give it to him.
Yep.
Just give it to him.
Be old school with the new way of doing things in life, right? So and for me, it's kind of much the same. Put the pedal to the metal, bury these guys. I don't want to see them there. And I've been hearing about them all year, hearing about them last year, and I just want to put them to rest.
Put them to sleep.
Put them to sleep. That's it. So that's all we have time for today, folks. And tune in again next week, 6:30 to 7:30 on the Eric B Media Platform Sports Podcast, Coming in Clutch. And I'm Nelly.
I'm Colby.
And we are out.